Oh, perfect. Okay. No. Is this working? No. Crushing. Okay. I'm gonna get started in a few minutes. All right, I don't have anybody on here, so I'm just talking to the recording. How are you? Recording. We're gonna get started in a few. MLB Postseason 2023 kicks off tomorrow at like noon Western time, which is really odd. Oh no, I don't know how to see the chat. Sharp Dimes, how are you, brother? Nice. Okay. I'm gonna start in a few. I might as well just start because it's gonna be recorded anyways on YouTube. But I wrote down little tidbits about each team, start going through them. Started with like whatever the cheapest odds, kind of moved down the list. But I think the Braves plus 310, 152nd season. This would be their 5th World Series. I think the goal of this is mostly going to be, I'll run through the bracket after, but I think the goal is going to be to just like look at each team. How far can they realistically go? Like, are we laying a World Series future on this team or not? And then as we go round by round, obviously easier. I think the Braves have a really high ceiling. Okay, but this will be their 5th World Series. Snicker managing. Their bullpen: Iglesias, Minter, Jesse Chavez. I tried to put top 3 bullpen, like top 3 bullpen pieces, top 3 starters, what their lineups like, kind of like that's what we'll run through. But Iglesias, Minter, Jesse Chavez back end is much worse than the back end they had when they won. Although they rank like 4th in high leverage whip, so the guys have or in high leverage FIP. So the guys have performed this year. That's not a back end that wins the World Series to me. Iglesias, Minter, Jesse Chavez, like Pierce Johnson, right? Like these rando unproven guys. Not for me. Fried, Strider, Morton, I guess is fine. But yeah, the Giants stink. Fried, Strider, Morton's fine. But I mean, this is where you're really missing. It's like too bad Soroka's career went down the toilet. Lineup, I think, is like a top tier, obviously. Lineup first in team average this season by like a good 10 points. I put intangibles. I honestly put explosive and fun. That's what I had for intangibles. Like, I don't know. This team, like Freddie Freeman, I thought was the heart and soul of the last team. Freddie ain't here anymore. Can the Giants come back? I don't know. My NFL just hasn't been as good. College football and baseball have been great. Dodgers plus 450. I see a route for the Dodgers. If anybody has a credible argument for the Dodgers, I'd like to hear it. I think you're always live with Mookie and Freddie. I think they're like 2 of the best players. Like intangible wise, everything across the board. You give me any argument with Mookie, Freddie involved. 140th season for the Dodgers. Last World Series 3 years ago, 8th overall. This would be their 8th overall. Evan Phillips, Bruiser Gratterall, Ryan Brazier, back end. I mean, they're deep. It's a very deep bullpen, but nah. Evan Phillips closing out a World Series, meh. I'm not going to take them completely off my list, but at plus 450, I'm not taking them at all. I think they have a plus lineup just because of those 2, but 7th in team average this year. Kershaw, Gonsolin, Lynn. It could be worse. I think it's kind of a little undervalued. Like those 3 are a little bit undervalued. Lynn's good. Tony Gonsolin's really good. I don't know. If you told me you're taking the Dodgers, I'm not gonna bomb, but there's no value there. I would wait to take them. Same thing with like the Braves. I think the Braves, if you're taking them with the intent to like roll off as like you take the underdog, if you think they're gonna go to the World Series, I can see that route. When we get there later, I have the Braves in the World Series from the NL side. Astros plus 450. I don't think so this year. Not the year for me. 61st season is interesting. This would be their 3rd World Series total. Dusty's 4th season with the team, is 26th season managing. We actually have 2 guys in their 26th season managing. Dusty and Bruce Bochy, interestingly enough. Presley, Abreu, Graveman. I guess if you put Hector Neris, you keep saying you like Blue Jays tomorrow. I'll get to that. We're not even close to, we haven't got through this. Presley, Abreu, Graveman. I think Presley Graveman's really, really good. I don't trust Hector Neris as far as I can throw him in high leverage situations. Verlander, Framber, Christian Javier, I have a problem with as a starting road 3 to get it done. They have a plus lineup, 5th in team average this year. Personally, this isn't the Astros year for me. I was dangling with the idea for a while. I don't think this is it. Come back, sneak their way in, AL West division, we always win. Nah, I'm good on that. No Astros for me. Orioles plus 700, I think is interesting. I think I could see them losing in the World Series, kind of like a Royals type situation, but I can't get to any window with the Orioles, not without Felix Bautista. I don't trust these names in the bullpen, like Cano, Kriebel, Kalum back end. I mean, it's deep, but I do like the fact that you're bringing Johns Means back. If somebody's taking them for like an AL pennant or something, I don't dislike you. Bradish Means Kramer, meh. I think a big strength of this team would be like, don't know any better. This is like the Royals for me. If you take them to lose, this is the Royals for me. Brandon Hyde. I don't know. If they go to I think their max would be going to the World Series. AL pennant future would be the highest I'd go with them. The Rangers I was toying with for a very long time. I'm noticing that a lot of books are hanging some huge numbers on the Rangers, which is a little disheartening. Like I see like plus 2,200s in Vegas on the Rangers. It's like, tell me. You're telling me something I don't feel like hearing because I was looking at them for a little bit. 62nd season for the Rangers, which is very interesting. Bruce Bochy is first with the team, but is 26th managing. I like the back end. Like this was one of I thought would be like maybe a sexy pick. 14-1 O's ticket's interesting. 14-1. What's it called? The team I like is wider than that. All the money on Arizona. I could see money being on Arizona. Okay, Rangers, high leverage rank. This bullpen has severely underperformed all season. I don't like the first round matchup, by the way, with the Rays. I really don't like that. That's tough for me. No, it's not the Rangers. I kind of have a feeling the Rangers are just going to get knocked out in the first round. Smith, Leclerc, Chapman. I think they either get knocked out in the first round or they basically go all the way. They're a team, I can't rule them out because of some number situations, whatever. But Smith, Leclerc, Chapman is a really good back end to me. Like, I think that's elite. I think that's an elite back 3, which you need to win a World Series. Scherzer, Eovaldi, Montgomery, like the pitching starts to actually look good. With Bruce, we got Bochy Ball plus those pitchers. It's like not bad. I don't like what the market's telling me on the Rangers, but I think they're live. They're not my pick, but if you tell me they win, I'm not surprised. The Rays at plus 1,500, I think are dead to win it. But do I think they can maybe make a run to maybe say the ALCS type situation? And like the reason I'm handicapping bullpen, like almost like the game backwards, like back to front, is because the bullpen, when's the last time I have won basically in my memory as a baseball fan, which dates back to when I was 5, I've won in my memory instant of a team that's won a World Series without a dope bullpen. And that's the Red Sox. And they killed Chris Sale and they killed fucking David Price along the way. So Rays plus 1,500, I think, is dead. I don't think they're going to win. I think they can maybe make a run to, the ALCS, lose in the ALCS. I don't think they're going to the World Series either. Armstrong, Dykeman, Poche, for me. TB's bats can just die. You know what's crazy? What would you have thought if I told you the Rays were 3rd in overall team batting average during the season? I would have never guessed that when I was doing it. Yeah, they are spurts. It is very streaky. They're streaky, but somehow ending up 3rd in team batting average. Got to be less streaky than more in terms of bat anyways. Armstrong, Dykeman, Poche. I mean, these arms are so unproven to me. Them folding in big spots all makes sense to me in the playoffs. I don't recognize any of these people in terms of proven commodities in the Rays bullpen. Glasnow, Eflin, and then I assume you just go bullpen game for one. I don't see a starter. Who else do you put in there without McClanahan? What do you just throw a bullpen game for game 3? No, which is why I think you end up running out of arms by the time you get to the end of the postseason. I think you die in like the ALCS or something if you're the Rays. I will get back to let me get through these and I'll try and answer all the comments. Jays, I mean, we'll get to them further. Plus 1,800, 46 seasons since founding. Last World Series 30 years ago, and then won 31 years ago. Schneider, the coach. Romano, Miza, Swanson, Hicks, Cabrera, not a bad back end. They've improved it. That was a nice little trade deadline addition for them. They were third in high leverage ranks, so they did their job. Gausman, Bassett, Kikuchi. I mean, I can't argue with that. I think it's a plus lineup. I think the Blue Jays are very built to make a postseason run. Chad Green also, yeah, I think the Blue Jays are very built to make a postseason run. I think their first opponent is very difficult because the Twins have great pitching. And if the Twins have great pitching, matches their pitching, and the Blue Jays don't hit, I think the first round will be the toughest for the Blue Jays. But we will get to it. I had them going quite far. The Phillies, plus 1,300, I think are dead. I think they have an underperforming bullpen, very akin to the Rangers, where it's like Alvarado, Gregory Soto, fucking Sir Anthony Dominguez. There's some names in this bullpen that severely underperformed this year. 13th in high leverage rank. The starting pitching is where I have a little bit of problem with the Wheeler, Nola, Suarez. I like the team chemistry on the team. Biggest problem I have is that they just blew everybody's doors off to end the season. And like no team that wins does that. I don't know by design or what, but they played way too well for me to end the season. I don't think Rob Thompson's a great coach. I think like the team chemistry thing, you can only ride it so far, and that was last season. Schneider is him. Sports Capper, I think we'll get to it in a sec. I have some other reasons. I'm going to do the other reasons once the whatever starts, only for the people that really want to stay in here. Absolutely just insane person stuff. But Brewers plus 2,200. I think these areas I'm noticing where people are moving, like Arizona, the Midwest, places where away from cities are starting to win more. Florida, obviously winning things. I don't mind the Marlins advancing early, but Brewers are semi-ish live to me. They just kind of aren't that good. Like Devin Williams, Hobie Milner, freaking Piamps in the bullpen. I like Craig Counsell. I think plus managing akin to the Rays. Like obviously Kevin Cash would be their X factor. Bruce Bochy's nice to have. Craig Counsell's nice to have. But we see the stuff about Woodruff coming out. You're telling me like Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and Wade Miley get you so far. I like Willie Adames, but this like 23rd lineup, this is the lowest lineup in terms of batting average in the playoffs. Yeah. Twins plus 2,000. Do you think the Twins can beat the Astros? Well, I don't think the Twins are going to be there. If the Twins are there, then I don't think the Astros will be there. So, or I got to look at how, let me pull up the playoff bracket. I left my whatever downstairs. I had all my things written out. Twins plus 2,000. This is their 122nd year since founding, 32 years since a World Series, 41 years for the Brewers since a World Series, which is a decent number to have. Duran, Pagan, Tybar. I mean, I like they have some other lefty. I forget what's his name that I like. Emilio Pagan at the back end of the bullpen for all you Twins fans is a big red flag for me. I don't like Emilio Pagan at all. I think he's a choker. This team has really good pitching. I like the Blue Jays a lot, and they worry me in the first round. I think it gets easier for the Blue Jays as it goes in the AL side of the bracket. I think actually the line of what I have in the World Series, I think is a good matchup for them. I think this might be the toughest. You just a lot of times face your toughest matchup in the first round, and I think the pitching here could match them because it's not as experienced bats for Toronto, right? They haven't had postseason success. You got to get that ball rolling. You're asking me about like Twins versus Astros, just that matchup off. Like you already know that those bats are going to be calm at the plate because those are calm, experienced bats that have been here 40 times before, right? So it's like a different kind of matchup when that pitching goes into the postseason. In a 3-game series, if the Twins just grind through the Blue Jays real quick, that would be really annoying for my futures. The D-backs plus 3,500. I don't hate as an investment overall. Lavulo, 22 years since their last World Series, the 9-11, 22 since 9-11. They won, obviously, upsetting one of my childhood dreams. That was a sad day for me. It made me sad. Kevin Ginkel, Kevin Sewald, or Paul Sewald, and Andrew Chafin. Could be worse, right? Could be worse back end. 28th in high leverage rank, which is odd. I know Sewald came over and Chafin's had a down year. I mean, I guess it kind of makes some sense then, but that's low. I mean, these are low for D-backs. Twins, kind of surprising to see. I guess Moran fell off a cliff. These are low, high leverage ranks. 20th for the Brewers, and it kind of makes sense when you just have Devin Williams back there. We still give the Brewers bullpen a lot of the same respect we give it when Hader was there. He's not Hader. Gallen, Kelly, and then what's your third spot? That's tough. Twins will 2-0. Lopez and Gray have it. Interesting. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and then I guess you go like Tommy Henry. I mean, it gets tough. That's my problem with the D-backs. I like that it's a really big number, so if you want to end up hedging out of it. And Gallen might not even pitch the first series. What, they lined it up that poorly? They didn't even really need to get in the last few games. It lined up that poorly? I don't hate them like that. Makes me want to, Kelly might advance. I was like, you really messed it up that bad? Still messed it up that bad if Kelly doesn't pitch, because then who are you going to pitch? Tommy Henry and Ryan Nelson? You're not sending Zach Davies out for a postseason start, are you? That's a wild move. Marlins plus 4,000, last team on our list. 1991, going for their third World Series. Last one 20 years ago, Skip Shoemaker. First season at the helm. I liked Skip when he was playing. Tough little cat. I mean, Scott, Nardi, Puke. Yeah, we're not going to get out of the first round for me. I think their intangible would be Derek Jeter's aura inseminating them. That's what I basically have. Fourth in team average. Marlins bats really came alive today. I think the Marlins are dead. So they're in the dead category for me. Thoughts on Phillies? Dead. They're dead for me. This is right now, obviously can change. This is what I have as my bracket. This is gun to my head right now. I take Jays over Twins. Although I think Texas, if they advance, can advance far, I take Rays over Texas. Second round, I take Jays over Astros. I take Rays over Orioles. Then I take Jays over Rays. Jays go to the World Series. Other side of the bracket, I don't know. D-backs Brewers undecided. I guess they lose to LA. Maybe you have that fun team come out of there, because then you're going to have the Marlins win on the other side. I think would be a fun play. Marlins, Braves advance. Braves end up beating the other side. And I have Toronto beating the Braves in the World Series. That's what I have. Right now, I got the Jays. That's my pick. Yeah, Giants are bad. It's bad. So I'm going to take the Jays personally right now. The other futures I would take, the Rangers they're offering such huge numbers. It feels like they're dead to me. Maybe if somebody wants to take the Dodgers, like Orioles to win the AL pennant, you want to take a flyer on the D-backs? I can see it. D-backs, Dodgers, Jays are my three that I could take value-wise. Am I taking Jays money line tomorrow? Who's pitching? I assume they probably lined up Gausman. Probably. If I'm taking them to win the series, probably, yeah. I got to look at the lines, but probably. I think the Jays are really – somebody emailed me about this. The Jays are really, really undervalued. And we're going to have Adam there to report from the whole thing. Adam goes to all the postseason games in the chat. Adam loves it. Pro Gambling Action, how are you, brother? Gausman versus Lopez, I probably will be, because I'm today I started laying them. I have plus 1,800 and above I got on the Jays to win the World Series for a decent amount, so I'm going to throw a few units on it. It's interesting to me. I think the Braves losing at home makes a lot of sense. But the Jays, I mean, dude, you look at their bullpen. They have a top bullpen. They have three really good pitchers. Their lineup, like when you extend it out, you have like Merrifield and these other people in it now. It's a deep lineup that's basically 1 through 9, like dangerous. It's just the Jays, they've had this role where they just kick themselves in the dick so many times in recent history that people just like completely tune out the possibility. I think people that do marketing angles are like, why would you have a team from Toronto win the World Series? Doesn't help your brand at all. Does baseball care about making themselves more popular? I've never seen a company just care less about their own success. They are completely and totally insane. So this is interesting. I think it's really interesting. I think my prediction is Jays over Braves in 7. I think they win in the Braves' house in 7 games. That's my prediction. I'll make a video on it. I think Blue Jays over Braves in 7 games. Interestingly enough, they played in the 1992 World Series, and the Blue Jays won at the Braves and won 4-3 in the clinching game. They won the series 4-2, but they won the game 4-3 clinching. 31 years ago, this same matchup that I'm predicting will happen again, but I think they win in 7 this time. I think the Braves pitching is being so like they got their, who the Braves remind me of, but I don't think they're going to win. It reminds me of the Nuggets. The final month of the season, the NBA season, the Nuggets won as lost outright as double-digit dogs multiple times. And then I'm betting the Jays to win the World Series, probably betting them tomorrow. If it's a 3-game series, I most likely am probably going to bet them. They might go down. I got to look at the games, but most likely, yeah, probably. Grounder to first base with Joe Carter on first, Rodas Nixon. I wish I knew more. I was 2 years old. I didn't watch this. I have no Joe Carter memories, unfortunately. But 31 is a big number this year. And I think it's interesting that matchup happened 31 years ago and can happen again. I like it quite a bit. Schneider was born in Princeton, New Jersey, by the way. He's a Jersey kid. I don't mind riding a Jersey guy. But if you look up, so this is only got a few people left. You're all the boys, I think. No, I'm not officially taking the Jays tomorrow. You're trying to put the gun to my head, get me to take it. No, they don't have to win tomorrow. I got to look at what the market, what everything looks like tomorrow specifically. They don't have to win tomorrow to win the World Series. But this is for the people. There's only a few people left. If you look up the higher date these are a couple other things why I think it's interesting that a couple of things I just think are interesting when I was doing the numbers on this. Yeah, if you don't, I don't know, you might want to tune out. You might just think I'm absolutely insane. The Blue Jays manager, Schneider, he was hired. He had interim. I don't know whether this is for the interim or his actual hire date, but it was 1 year, 3 months, and 22 days prior to Game 7 of the World Series this year. One of the reasons I think like Game 7, it's going to either be a 5-game World Series or a 7. 100%. 100%. It will be a 5-game series or a 7-game World Series. That guy will be 1 year, 3 months, 22 days on that date. Interestingly enough, what's his face? If you told me the Orioles lose, it would make some sense. The Brandon Hyde was hired 4 years, 322 days from that same date, which is interesting. I also think it's interesting that Dave Roberts will be 51 years, 22 weeks, 3 days on the same date. In case anybody, what's his face? The Blue Jays manager, who is number 14. The 14th prime is 43. 43 is like the big number this year because the Georgia Gravestones fell 43 years ago. He's 43 years old. His number is 14. The manager of the last World Series in 1992 was number 43. And he's 43, 263. 263 is also a big number. I'm probably losing fucking everybody now, but I feel the need to at least give some of my back end reasoning because that factored in. So if you're going to throw a Blue Jays future, at least factor it in. Oh, no, this is being on YouTube. Oh, that's annoying. All right, I might delete this stream on YouTube. Yeah, I might delete this on YouTube. Okay, I don't really want that on YouTube. Well, all right. Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of Blue Jays. I think that stuff's I think it's really interesting that stuff lines up. That Toronto has a lot of things lining up for them. So I'm going to have a little bit of a Toronto future. I am going to probably hop off in a few minutes and delete the YouTube, which is annoying. I want to start having the YouTube ones up, but so that's my biggest reasoning. I got to do a little more diving. But if you know what this guy's going to be, John Schneider is going to be 43 years, 263 days old. If you know 263, it's just as big a number as like 222, 202. Obviously 322, like if you know what that is, that's the year this year. It's kind of like their freaking year. Yale turns 322 years old today. I mean, not today, on 10-9. Yale turns 322 years old, which is 11 days, I think, from 11-4. But it's 110 days from the first day the playoff starts. So you know the playoffs are woven in. All right. Yeah, I just have to I'm taking some Blue Jays. I mean, I just have to. It's fine. This is one of those things where, like, it's the same thing with any bet. I feel like as long as when you're investing in anything, as long as you feel fine about it, you did your due diligence, you feel fine about it, I'm willing to walk that money off a cliff. But going to have some Blue Jays futures. It's just the way life's going to go, huh? All right. Mike, who knows? But I'm going to have the Blue Jays plus 1,800 is going to have to be a relatively big play. Best look for tomorrow. I like the Marlins. Off of like first look, just taking a peek at it, I thought the Marlins was interesting with Luzardo. I feel like that's going to end up getting bet down. I don't know what I saw it at before. I think like minus 170 was like the stupid ESPN price I saw. I assume that ends up getting bet down. But I'm going to look at the Marlins. Holy crap. The D-backs have Brendan Pfaadt or whatever starting their first playoff game in a while. That is a bad look, huh? That is a gross look. Now, I'm probably going to end up on Gausman, but we'll see how it goes. And then I feel like it's just going to be such a sexy pick to take the Rangers like plus 130 or whatever they're going to be with Montgomery versus Glass now. I feel like it's just a bag of dicks waiting to happen. I just think the Jays are so deep. Really good bullpen, 3 really good starters. Numbers line up. I have to invest. If you tell me I lost it, then that's fine. But I have to invest. You got George Springer as a leader. I love George Springer. Talk about clutch hitters in today's age. I mean, how many more do you want? How many better are you going to see than Georgie boy? Oh, you know what I can do? I'm such an idiot. I can just end the stream on